Early last month, poets and writers got together for the Year in Review, the Hudson Valley Writers Guild annual meeting and open mic at Mojo's Cafe in Troy. A full range of writers took the stage that afternoon to share their poetry and prose, and today we're going to hear from two of those writers. First up is S.L. Maurice, who has been very active in the local community by leading writing workshops, hosting events, and serving on the HVWG board. At the Year in Review, Sam shared two poems as a preview of his featured reading at the Third Thursday Poetry Night at the Social Justice Center in Albany on January 15th.
What's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
So, I want to make you savvy of a couple things. First, I've got free books in the back over by the coffee table over there. They're free. It is the ballast of the living, as I call it. I just want to give them away. I've got some pretty good titles back there. I've always been very proud of my book collection. So if you take whatever you like, there's some John Clare back there. There's a Danny Lewski copy, House of Leaves, and so on. That being said, I also want to make you aware of a show I have coming up at the Social Justice Center on January 15th. I'll be performing. I'll be performing selections from the poems which you hopefully haven't grown too tired of hearing yet, and then more from selections from Vibrant Sounds, Colors, and Motion. That being said, I'll just go right into my performance now.
Woo!
I used to set quarters spinning when younger, wavering on the coffee table. I cut my hand at the edge to catch the quarters before they fell. Experimenting the heads or tails nature of chance as the last spinning quarter stilled at the corner of the coffee table and landed heads up. Who would I be to once again conjure the no-mindedness of an arrowhead, cutting through the winds of overthought? Would I cease to be? Would it be dying or something else entirely? So many times the moon has spun on the tabletop of the pitch-black sky since the thumbnail of a crescent moon, as always, stopped the full moon from falling out of orbit. What would it be like when the night sky tore down the center like carbon paper, and I could see what was on the other side? Staring at the coffee table, contemplating the colors of voidless void, I spent many years anticipating all the spins and swivels of change. All the mystery held in stories without definitive outcomes, whole spans of family history confined to a poem, only to find it may remain the same night sky it's always been. The same narrative passed along for generations, with only slight change, if any at all. 1994, the year I was born. A split from the middle of the living room from basement to attic started to form. A couple years later, it fell in half. Clambering from the fissure, asps skittering about the wreckage they passed in midsummer rain. I got headaches years after. My skull was a conch, pulsing with migraine and orchestral overtones. I emerged into the world from the infinitesimal possibilities of non-existence, into flux, reverberation, vibrant sounds, colors, and motion. A gray cat slinks along the windowsill of my early memory, purrs, and rubs her neck on the water pipes. On one half, old pictures gleamed in dreams, stacks of newspapers and books on herbal medicine and holistic remedies. On the other hand, a kitchen full of home improvement projects and hands strained to stay steady, a half dozen televisions planted in a great garden with vines growing from them in their fullest definition. A brook ran through the basement, cold, running into the Hudson, the Mohawk, out to the Homeric wine dark, let loose like long sighs after divine laughter ceases, moments of primary experience, but ripples across the waters of an otherwise acquiescent indifference. The sublime wines are grapes grown from infinitely forested vines, harvested by finite instants in time. The poem is the slightest fluttering of a moth, landing with finality upon specified moment, placement, and thought, catching everything of flickering bulbs, light touches first. Beat.
Woo!
Next up is science fiction writer and co-founder of the Albany Writers Group, Shannon Kauderer. The Albany Writers Group runs 2 Sunday evening write-in sessions every week in East Greenbush and Clifton Park. Shannon read an excerpt of a short story that was recently published in Catskill Chaos.
So, I didn't mention before, but my father is a well-established poet, and being here for an open mic night feels a lot like home.
Aww.
He took me to many when I was a younger person. However, as the Albany Writers Group representative, I am not going to be reading some poetry. I will try to keep it short, but a little excerpt from the short story that I published in Catskill Chaos, which is from my local publishing company. We do publish poetry as well. We're award-winning, so feel free to, submit. Called Pure Evil. Percival saw the sign with green background and white text, indicating old tech. It said, Catskills, 3 miles. Finally, he muttered under his breath, the leather pack, sword, and shield heavy on his shoulders. While the old roads meant one wouldn't get lost, the hard black rocks were not easy on the feet. As the last 3 miles crawled along, he kept alert. This was where the pure evil would be. The letter from the Pope contained no additional details, an indication that he was trusted with more and more unknown, dangerous missions. He felt proud to be able to help those in need so much. The caw of a crow brought his attention to the right. Nothing obviously dangerous. He hoped that he could find the rest of the team before the pure evil found him. Of course, with one of the team members being Alexander, it would be hard not to hear him if he was near. Percival warmed at the memories. Alexander had a great smile and better laugh. It had been so long since they caught up. Noting the official exit for the Catskills, he followed it. The black rocks deteriorated as the forest encroached the old black road, sprouting between the rocks, forcing them back into nature. After less than 100 yards of this, he went to the side and walked in the grassy area between rock and forest. Practically a twilight zone itself, it set his shoulders on edge. Something was watching him. Not slowing down, he scanned the horizon. Then he heard the thunk of a dart in dirt and breathed out. He plucked it out of the soil in front of him and carefully felt along the shaft, unstringing the parchment, pulling it off, and rolling it out to read. Meet at Tarts, signed Olia. He waved at the forest in acknowledgement, continuing down the road with a pep not there a moment before. A message from his team before even seeing a sign of the pure evil? That was a good sign for the mission, surely. Seeing the large red text of the Tarts sign, he smiled, going in the front door. Percival, oh my goodness, man, you've gone gray. You aren't that old, unless you've been lying to me. Alexander crossed his muscly arms in fake outrage. His boisterous voice reverberated off the back of the small shop, short shelves doing nothing to cut the sound. I would never lie to you, my dear friend. He pulled Alexander into a bear hug. Then what could have caused this? Running his hand through the shoulder-length gray hair. Stress of the job, I'm afraid. Alex paused for a moment, turning as serious as he ever could be. I told you not to take the promotion. Well, it's the only way to save more people. There's so much evil in the world, and at this level, I can do so much more. That's why the team is here right now. Alexander frowned. And you care so much at the cost of your own wellness? Those above will certainly keep giving you missions if you don't resist. But why should I resist? Have you ever heard of self-care? He put his hand on Percival's shoulder. You're going to burn out and then get hurt. His eyes were large with concern. Percival put his hand on Alexander's, just for a moment, feeling the rough skin. I appreciate your worry, but I think I've got it under control. If you say so. Alexander removed his hand. The wrinkle between his eyes stayed for a moment longer before his normal smile came back. Have you seen the rest of the team? Olia sent me a message, but she wouldn't be that good if I actually saw her. Of course. She's been scouting the area for tracks. Alexander went back to the chair he had been sitting at before and sat down. Percival followed, finding another chair to pull up to the counter. Has she found any leads? A shadow crossed Alex's face. Lots of animals have been possessed, becoming irate, confrontational. I swear you can see the red of evil in their eyes, and their lust for blood shines off their teeth. He shuddered. My friend, I'm sorry to hear that. I know every lost animal's soul leaves a scar on your own. Percival pulled Alexander into a hug. Feeling the tension release from Alex's shoulder, he kept holding, and Alexander kept his head right there.